This is the Bark River Knives Boone 2. It's a new release from Bark River Knives 2021, and I've been on the pre-order for this for about half a year and was very excited to see when it finally came out. Before I take the sheath off and reveal this beautiful knife, I want to show you something cool that Bark River Knives does with their sheaths quite frequently. I had a Bravo and got rid of it foolishly, but it had this feature here. So when you unsnap this, it just slaps, just kind of fits back there, so that when you pull the blade out, it doesn't cut your retention strap, and it just stays nicely out of the way and pinched between you. You don't even need it pinched between the belt, but when your belt is there, it stays securely in there until you need to resheath it, and boom. Look at this beautiful, beautiful leather sheath. Bark River Knives always has gorgeous sheaths. So here's the knife. So as I mentioned earlier, this is based on the Marbles Ideal outdoor knife from the 1800s, late 1800s, I believe, and also from a Wade and Butcher outdoor knives. Wade and Butcher was a Sheffield knife maker, and this knife, this Boone, is sort of represents an era of American outdoor knives for sportsmen and hunters and all sorts of different outdoor uses, camping and stuff like that in the 1800s. I just think it's a really iconic looking, very American looking knife, and that's what really drew me to it when I initially saw this go up for pre-order. I was also in a Bowie phase and in a Bark River Knives little jag there, and I figured this was the perfect small utilitarian Bowie compared to the monstrous sort of fighting Bowies I was buying, which I'll show in a minute. But something about this knife really is makes me kind of nostalgic. It's sort of the proto K-bar kind of. It's like I think the K-bar must have come from knives like this because of that blade. It's a very utilitarian sort of clip point blade. But like I said, there's something that I can't quite put my finger on about this knife that really drew me to it. This could be the kind of thing my grandfather carried, or my great grandfathers carried. It's just an old American knife. You could use this for anything, pretty much. It's just like a great outdoors knife, and then you can see it could flex into that combat utility role. But really, I just got this because, like I said, it's the small and practical Bowie in my small collection of Bowies. And I guess you might not even call this a Bowie knife because it's not very long and it's not very thick. At 6 inches long here. But, it's got that blade. And it also has these beautiful aluminum bolsters. Oh yeah, 3V steel. I don't have too much in the way of 3V. My other one is another Bark River made blade. So it's got this polished bolster. I love that, and I love those liners. And then this is black stacked leather, and that butt cap really has a traditional look that just really appeals to me. Now you can get this same knife in the Moran style handle. The Moran style handle is here. It's this kind of handle. You can get that sort of contoured handle on this, but to me this should have something like this, preferably in stacked leather. I just love the way that looks, and it seems to be the most genuine, though I'm sure they used wood and other stuff. And when you get this from Bark River Knives, you have the choice of so many great handle materials. I mean, that's part of their métier right there, is building knives with great blades and then a great variety of different handle materials. So I don't have much to say about this knife. I haven't used it yet, but this is one of those ones I actually plan on using just around the backyard. I just want to see how it works. It's nice and light. It's got a 3V blade, but it's also, what is that, convex ground. So it's going to be very sharp and very stout. And I look forward to kind of taking it out and just having it on my belt and seeing if I need it and using it when I do, and just seeing how this thing works out. All right, let me show it with a couple of other knives here, because that's part of what I really love to do, is compare. As you see it here, this is the V44 Bowie, based on the Marine Raider Bowie, also by Bark River Knives. I mean, I could read the specs just as well as anyone else, but I expected this to be a little bit larger, I must admit. And I'm glad it's not, because this is a lot of knife. And as you'll see, another one I'm going to compare it to is even more knife, but kind of in the same camp. So that's the Shining Mountain Bowie by Bark River Knives. And this has a beautiful antique stacked leather handle. See that? Yeah. One at a time. This thing is a beast. So, okay, there we go. I can hold that. So this is black stacked leather handle. This is antiqued. So I think they put some sort of amber, kind of like amber dye in there or something to make it look older and yellowed a little bit. As I mentioned before, a famous knife that you can really see the lineage in this is the K-bar. So let me show this with a K-bar knife. This is the standard 7-inch K-bar. This is the USMC version, as reissued in the early 90s. They made it just like the original, the sharpened swedge, which is so sweet. I wish they still did that. And the stacked leather handle. So, you know, you can see the similarity there. And then here's another great Bark River made knife. This is based on the Randall Model 1. God, just a beautiful knife. Wish they sharpened the swedge on this one. All Randalls have that swedge. Almost all Randalls have that swedge sharpened, kind of no matter what the knife. And I love that feature. I wish they did that on this, but whatever, I'll live. This is a nice ivory, or what is this? Lemon micarta. I don't know, classic looking micarta. It's not actual classic, but it looks like it. So these three, you can kind of see a lineage with all of these. You can see a shared past, kind of pointing back to this knife. A couple other comparisons. Here it is with a knife that's just about the same size. This is the Cold Steel SRK. It's got that 6-inch blade, a little bit thicker on this one, and but same size handle, about the same size blade. Actually, the blade's thicknesses look exactly the same. And I'm sorry, I don't know what that is right now. I guess I could look at it here. It's probably about 3/16. So the SRK, this is a great outdoors knife. I've banged on this a couple of times, but it's not really mine. It's actually my wife's. It goes in her bug out bag. Here it is with a buck. What is this? The 119, I believe. Same dimensions. Same length on the blade, same length on the handle, same classic style look. I love the fuller here. You get the same thing there. I love those fullers. They just add to the classic look of these knives. This thing is great. I always kind of forget about it, but it is so incredibly sharp. This thing is a wicked knife. Wicked useful, man, I'm sure. I don't know, never used it for anything, but seems like it'd be great for hunting and outdoorsy stuff. right, two more. Promising that's it. So here it is with the Tex Creek. This is the one that I use outdoors the most in terms of just small or medium-sized fixed blades. This is a great knife. And I've chipped this so many times, you know, hacking and swinging and missing and hitting fence and that kind of stuff. And the 1095 steel is so great to bring back when you damage it. It's one of the best knives to bring back, blade steels. This is a good one. So I'm going to do some of that with this. This thing I plan to bring out, like I said, but we'll see. We'll see if I actually mean it. Here it is. This is my last comparison. This is a Bark River knife. Also, I had to shellac some canvas on the end of there because this sucker is so pointy. It came through that sheath immediately. This is the mini bush sax. Great little utility knife. Just part of the family portrait of Bark River Knives. So anyway, there you have it. Thanks for checking out my video on the Boone 2. Probably don't have too much useful information for those of you who are actual outdoorsmen and hunters who want to know how this thing performs. But if you know and trust Bark River Knives, if you know and trust 3V steel, if you're familiar with leather, you know, I think this knife will do you right. It is an absolute beauty, and no doubt you deserve it. So if you are that outdoorsman who is drooling over this knife, you deserve it. Go get it. Look at that. I mean, look at that feature alone. Worth the price of admission. All right, thanks for watching.